I'm Dr. Bob Lehman, Chairman of the Historical Committee of the Cavalier Golf and Yacht Club, and we are going to be celebrating our centennial anniversary in 2 years. And one of our projects is to get a videotape of members who have been members of the Cavalier for quite a few decades, and no one deserves that accolade more than Mr. Walter Noona, who we're here today to interview. Walter, I want to welcome you to our project. And Walter, just tell us a little bit about your background, and just talk freely and let us know.
All right. Hello, Bob. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Well, I'm a Norfolk native. I was born in Norfolk. I went to Maury High School. I graduated. I went to study music. I spent some time in New York at Juilliard, but I didn't really care for it. And so I had won a scholarship to Paris, which I won an open playing competition on the piano. But the draft board wouldn't let me go. This was during the Korean conflict.
They had better plans for you.
And so I had to turn the scholarship down. Mm-hmm. I got a scholarship at the University of Illinois, where I had the wonderful pleasure of studying with Solima Stravinsky, who was the great composer Stravinsky's son. I know that's not important, but it was important in my life because I wanted to play the piano as a concert artist, and it set me up. I got my first job in teaching was at the University of Illinois, but it was only as an apprentice because I was working on my master's and doctorate. I then took a job in New Orleans. My wife and I had spent our honeymoon there and fell in love with the city. And so I took a job at Xavier University and did a little teaching at Sophie Newcomb, which is the girls' part of Tulane. But then I was heard and hired by the director of music at Loyola University in New Orleans. It was a gorgeous school, just really beautiful. And I thought I was working hard, but it was a cushy job. I was to teach a few students and then go out through the region and play concerts to entice students to come study there. And my father became ill in Norfolk, and I had been offered on paper a job as head of a private music school here in Virginia. And on paper, it was wonderful, and I wanted to get back to this region because I wanted to be near my dad. Mm-hmm. And so I took the job, but when I got here, and after a few weeks, I could see that it was not going to happen. So I resigned, and then I had to find a job. Well, I couldn't find one. And we had a house, 2 children, and no job.
That's not a good financial
No,
strategy.
it wasn't. I wondered, am I in the wrong business? I had a beautiful Steinway piano, which I had saved money all through my early life to buy. So we had no furniture in the house, but a beautiful Steinway piano. So I retaught myself how to play cocktail piano, dance music, a little bit of jazz. And I sat for 6 months, though, with no work. But then it began to happen. I began to play at the clubs around the area, and it took off. And I played piano within the symphony here, and I worked with Russell Sanger, who was really a magnificent person. And
He was a conductor.
he was the conductor of
Right.
the Virginia Symphony.
Uh-huh.
And I took over the Virginia Pops, which was my idea, and it was very successful.
And you were the conductor for that.
And then in 1981, I had a chance I had a call from New York, and it was from an agent there called Bob Gardner, who was Ethel Merman's agent. Ethel Merman was a big Broadway star and movie and television
And voice.
personality. Big voice.
Big voice.
Anyway, I went up to New York, auditioned, and I became her conductor. And I was with her from 1981 to 1989, and when she died of a hemorrhage. She was doing an off-Broadway show and just went like that. So we were here in Virginia, and I eventually had 5 children, and they were all championship swimmers and kids who really loved to swim and dive. And we were constantly looking for a place to let them swim. We first tried the beach. There was a club down there that used to be called, a long time ago, the Surf Club, and it would have big bands like Tommy Dorsey, Harry James, that ilk. And they had a beautiful pool, and they would let people pay the money and come and swim. And then when that closed down, we went to a place called the White Heron,
White Heron.
which was up here on the corner where you turn in to come to the club. And we were there for a while. And then they closed that down. And so the Cavalier Country Club had a notice that they were looking for new members. And we came into this area. I remember Birdneck as a high school boy. I had friends who used to come down here in the summer and live in a little cottage on Cardinal Road. And at that time, the Cavalier Country Club was not really a country club. Yes, it was, and no, it wasn't. As you know, as a historian, this club started out as a hunting club. And it was like a great big one-room place. And it had a big fireplace, and the men used to hunt through this area for whatever. And come in to warm up and do or eat. They didn't really have food service, as I remember. And so they had a pool here, and we looked at it, and it was not as magnificent as it is now, but it was a good pool.
A teardrop pool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And so we joined the club, and this was in 1965.
Okay.
And I had returned to this area in 1960.
So we're talking 71 years ago.
Oh yeah.
71 just for mathematics, okay?
And so my children, I joined the club. The swimming pool was good.
Excuse
When-
me, 61 years ago. Not 71, 61 years ago, okay?
My children enjoyed the pool, and they took part in all of the contests that they had. The golf course at that time was not good. It was really a dog track. It was not good.
Still owned by the Cavalier Hotel at the time.
No, it was owned by a cartel of men who were in the midst of talking about doing away with the golf course and building houses. this, I'm not exactly sure, but from what I have gleaned, the golf course came about when the Cavalier on the Hill needed a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And so they helped put in one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think over time, a cartel took it over.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we joined in 1965, it had gone down so badly that the cartel was thinking of selling it and letting them build houses instead of a golf course. Well, the pro shop at that time was on the first tee, and it was just a little bigger than an outhouse.
Uh-huh.
I mean, really.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I never really had a lot of time to play golf because I was busy conducting, playing the piano, traveling with Ethel Merman, and all that kind of stuff. And I went, and Bobby Jones, God bless him, we were having a member guest.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I had written lots of piano music for teaching. And I had invited my publisher down to play in that contest, the member guest, which was wonderful, by the way.
In which way? Tell me a little about it.
In many ways. They had, before the Friday that it started, they would have a big meeting at the Malvern Farm, and then they would not only host us to barbecue and stuff like that, but they would have a big betting pool, and you could win big money.
Uh-huh.
But you had to put money in.
Right.
So the course, though, as it wasn't very good. And Bobby Jones took his tractor and whatever, and he started working on the course himself. And he really did a wonderful job. He didn't get all the grass to grow in time for the contest, but he had changed it and made it a much more viable and exciting golf course.
Wow.
And that was Bobby Jones, all by himself.
Hmm.
He was out there with his tractor, moving dirt, pushing it around.
Wow.
I mean, really.
One man did that.
One man. And every time I see him, I thank him. Because no one else put the love and care into the golf course than he did at that time. Anyway, it was a very successful member guest. And from that time on, the golf course began to really pick up. And we had Butch Liebler, who was greatly involved in making it better. And then the gentleman who now has the golf course over.
They talk Claude King and
Claude King.
Claude King and
Yes.
then Keith King.
Keith. Now Claude I went to school with Claude,
Uh-huh.
and we both went to East Carolina together. And he was a star on the football team, and I was the drum major of the band.
So you all both knew each other very
Yes.
well.
And Keith came, who was a very lovable person,
Yes.
and did a lot to make golf enjoyable here. And again, the golf course began to really take on personality, and each one made it a little bit better. And they redid the course at one time, and then of course they did a big transformation after that for the golf course until this last go around.
Right.
We've
20, 25,
replaced the
26.
greens a couple of times here. And, but back in 1965, there wasn't much here. And if you could see then and look at it now, you said, gee whiz, that's impossible for it to be that much better in so short a time.
Now you mentioned the pro shop being very small. They also would have had caddies back then, the caddy shack, etc. Do you remember playing golf with caddies?
Yes.
You do? Tell
We
me.
did have caddies. They were very helpful. There was one caddy, Big John,
Big John, right.
who used to get on his bicycle and come down Cardinal Road, and you could never understand how that bicycle didn't fall because his momentum was about like this. It was slow. But he was here, he would shag balls, and he would always have a cigar in his mouth, and he was a person of character. Yeah, he was like you write in a book. He would be a character.
Right.
Just really wonderful memories of that.
Now you play golf now. First, I didn't even get to ask you your age, which I'll get to in a second. And I want you to now just let us know how much golf you play, because I met you actually on a golf course. You were the course one day, and you were playing by yourself. And I was just amazed that you were doing that. So let us know how old you are and tell us how much golf you play, because it's pretty incredible.
Well, I've always been a teacher, and I'm still at this instant teaching at Norfolk Academy. We moved into this Birdneck Point with my family, 5 children, in 1976. We bought Estelle Battleman's home, which is like a peninsula. You come down the street and you go on our property, and we have water on 3 sides. And so we have lived in Birdneck since 1976. And I can remember getting in my car and going to work to either catch a plane or to teach or to play somewhere, and saying, I gotta do that. I gotta play that golf course. And I never really had a lot of time. But I'm 94, and the last couple of years, I've cut down on my traveling and teaching. I still do the teaching. And I play in the summertime. I play as often as I can. But in the wintertime, say like from the middle of September until June, I'm teaching at school, so I don't get to play but maybe once or twice a week.
That's still amazing at your age, that you do that. My age, well, of course, the course has been closed for a few months with the latest renovations, but it's going to be opening up for me August the 1st. So I'm looking in a couple of days.
They did a great job.
Yes,
it's
they
in
really
beautiful shape.
They did a wonderful job on that. So what's your handicap now? What is your
Oh gosh, my handicap right now is about 20. I mean,
better than mine.
I have last year I wasn't able to play a lot because we didn't have a golf course. And so
Because of the renovation.
Yes.
Right.
And so what was open to me were the public courses. And so I played some at Red Wing, some at Kempsville, some at Heron Ridge. The beautiful golf course that Virginia Beach has is the Virginia Beach National. And I'm so afraid they're going to close that. It's very expensive, and for many seniors, it is not. It's not coexistence with their pocketbook. It's very expensive.
Right.
And but
I might also say for the history, because this may be viewed 100 years from now, and Virginia Beach National may not be there anymore.
It may not. That's what we're worried about.
Yeah, it actually was a PGA
golf course.
And one of our members, Ed Augustine, who's a past president, bid on buying that golf course. And his intention was not to have any homes there. And currently, it's being, the Dragas company has it, and they want to put homes in there. It's a big tract of land out near the municipal center. It certainly will change over the next decade or two, and by the time a lot of people see this, it's going to be dated.
Well, it is a shame, because Virginia Beach is known as a vacation city, and people that come to the beachfront look for a golf course to play, and the city doesn't really have one to offer them.
I would agree.
They were, at one time, the city of Virginia Beach was thinking about making a golf course where Fort Story is, on the ocean. And that would have been magnificent.
That would have been beautiful.
But they, as usual, they didn't follow through.
Yeah.
But this golf course can quell any golfer's desire, because you can play from the back tees, and I give you my word, it's got everything you need. It may not be as long as Virginia Beach National, but it's got lots of problems.
Right, there's a lot of character to it.
A lot of character, and I've had many guests that come here thinking, oh man, well, this is just a dinky little golf course. And they come and they find out that you got to be a good, strong player and know where you're going to put your ball.
Right, correct. That's very correct. Now, who have there certainly have been a lot of characters in your life, I'm sure, that you've played golf with, or friends that you've had here at the club, who may not be with us anymore, but perhaps you can comment on them or some of your friendships. I know that you're friendly with Ken Siegel, who is
yes,
a
very
psychologist,
wonderful gentleman.
a very wonderful gentleman. And if you would just toss out a few other names and maybe a little color to their life, people who specifically
people that
weren't
I
here
have
that may
had
have.
here are in the publishing world, because my wife and I had done a complete piano series of like a couple of hundred books for teaching piano. And I've had members from the Lorenz Corporation, who is a publisher, people from other big publishing companies here as my guests. I've had, when I conducted the Virginia Pops, I would have the stars who would come, like Alvino Ray, Larry Adler. These are yesteryear stars. And Robert Goulet. Robert Goulet actually played golf with me here.
Did not know that.
I mean, I had classical performers who I brought to this club. the great cellist,
Yo-Yo Ma?
Yo Ma, was here.
Really?
Phyllis Diller came with me for dinner
Oh
here.
my gosh.
The only person that didn't come with me here was Phyllis, my person that I traveled with, Ethel Merman.
Oh, Ethel.
I traveled with her. She was a big Broadway star and of stage, screen, television, and Broadway. She had a big, big, huge voice.
Yes.
And I was her conductor. I conducted all of her concerts from 1981 to 1989. But I never could get her to sit down long enough to come here, because I had many of my guests who came to perform come to this club and have dinner. It was a wonderful place to bring people, particularly after the first renovation, because it suddenly took on the ilk of a real country club.
And that was, what year would you say that is?
Oh God,
Roughly.
that was like from the late 70s through the 90s. And I would bring all of my guests here, one way or another, for either golf or for dinner. I've had many of the Norfolk dignitaries in the symphony. I was the interim conductor when Russell Stanger left. I had the orchestra for 1 year while they were looking for
I was thinking, I remember you being the conductor for Virginia Symphony. But then when you said Virginia Pop, I said, well, maybe I saw the Pops versus the Symphony. And then Joanne Folletta, I think, came in after that. Is that correct?
Well, no. Russell left, and they were on a search for another conductor. I really didn't want the classical orchestra. I wanted the Pops. I wanted